Tonight on NewsWatch, white smoke rises from the Sistine Chapel. The Catholic Church has chosen its next leader. Plus, keeping yourself safe online, what you can do to protect yourself in the information age. And CBN News sits down with the wife of an American pastor imprisoned in Iran. All this and more tonight on NewsWatch. The 266th Pope will be known as Pope Francis. Good evening, I'm Lori Johnson. After only 2 days in the conclave, the 115 cardinals made their decision this evening. Argentine Cardinal Jorge Bergoglio is the next pope. He's the first ever from the Americas to fill the role. The tens of thousands of people gathered in St. Peter's Square celebrated as the white smoke went up and the bells of St. Peter's Basilica chimed. It took 5 rounds of voting to elect Bergoglio as the 266th pope. Despite there being no clear front runner, the 76-year-old was chosen in one of the fastest conclaves in years. Pope Francis will now serve as the leader of the world's 1.2 billion Catholics. And joining us now is Dr. Cornay Becker, an ordained minister and professor at Regent University. Thanks for joining us today.
Such a joy, thank you.
So talk about the new Pope, Argentina's Cardinal Bergoglio, who's taken the name Pope Francis. What can you tell us about him?
Well, firstly, we have to say that he's a Jesuit. And he's known for 3 things. This cardinal's been known for real active humility, a real passion for social justice, as well as doctrinal conservatism.
So he's going to be Pope of the people. We saw some signs of humility when he was on the balcony earlier. What does it say that he is the first Pope elected from the Americas?
How extraordinary this has been. In South America in the last number of years, a lot of the Catholic faithful has been lost to kind of Pentecostal, charismatic, Protestant congregations. And I think this is going to re-energize the Catholic faithful in South America.
And half of all Catholics are in South America.
Correct, yes.
So he's going to be very well represented. Now, he is 76 years old, yes. And a lot of the experts were thinking that a younger pope was going to be chosen. What do you think about the fact that he is an older fella?
It's extraordinary. In actual fact, nobody saw this coming. And I think one of the reasons might be, I think in the mind of the conclave, they want maybe a shorter tenure for popes right now. And with the president of Pope Benedict stepping down, this might be an option for somebody to say, well, I'm going to reign, I'm going to rule for a shorter period of time and maybe then step down. I think we're going to see a change here.
Now, we've heard talk that he's a so-called reformer within the Catholic Church. Yes. What does that mean?
I think you have to look at his name, right? Francis was a reformer of sorts, as well, of course, the founder of the Jesuits, Ignatius of Loyola. And both of them changed the church in significant ways. From the Jesuit side, he's going to be a great thinker. From the Franciscan side, he's going to be a doer. So it's going to be interesting to see these two spiritualities come together. We
understand he has a real heart for the poor as well.
It's a beautiful story. 2001, he knelt down and kissed the feet of 12 people that were suffering from AIDS, dying in a hospice. And that's that Franciscan spirituality that's going to come through.
And he takes the bus to work and does his own cooking. That's going to change.
Yes, how extraordinary that is.
All right. Dr. Becker, thank you so much for your insights.
What a joy.
And in other news, more and more celebrities and political figures are coming forward to announce their computers may have been hacked. It's a major attack that may reach all the way to the White House. Now authorities are trying to determine whether the information posted online is authentic and who did it. John Waggy reports.
Those targeted are a mix of the powerful and famous, from Vice President Biden to Beyoncé and Jay-Z, actors and politicians, even LA's police chief.
We will vigorously pursue the individuals that have made me a victim and have made a number of other people that are in the public eye victims.
And the website, which appears to originate in Russia, also posted the Social Security number and credit report of First Lady Michelle Obama. In an exclusive interview with ABC News, President Obama would not say if the information posted about the First Lady is authentic.
We should not be surprised that if you've got hackers who want to dig in and devote a lot of resources, that they can access people's private information. It is a big problem.
Right into the White House.
And again, I'm not confirming that that's what happened. You've got websites out there right now that sell people's credit cards that have been stolen.
Law enforcement officials are trying to determine how much of the information on the website is authentic and how it might have been obtained. But that's a tall order.
It is a very difficult endeavor. You know, many of these sites are not in the boundaries of the United States.
Hacking isn't just a threat to personal accounts. The general in charge of cybersecurity warned Congress this week that hackers pose a danger to vital interests, such as Wall Street or the nation's power grid. The Pentagon is forming 13 teams to guard the nation in cyberspace. Many of the attacks come from China, and a government spokeswoman tried to address Pentagon concerns Tuesday, saying China opposes hackers and will crack down. John Waggy, CBN News.
For more on cybersecurity, we're joined now by Paul Rosenzweig. He's a Visit Fellow at the Heritage Foundation. Paul, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, coming into his second term in office, the president put a new emphasis on cybersecurity. What's he doing, and do you think it's enough?
Well, what he's doing is trying to assert the federal government's role in protecting cyberspace, and in some ways it's not enough, and in some ways it's too much. The government as a regulator is, I don't think, going to work very well. The government as facilitator, that would be much more helpful, but we aren't there yet.
Well, what do you see as the most serious threats when it comes to the issue of cybersecurity? What kind of dangers do breaches pose?
Well, the biggest danger to your listeners is from garden variety theft and fraud. We lose about $250 billion a year to online theft and fraud here in the United States. And that's the thing that happens most frequently. But that doesn't make the news because that's like crime everywhere, every day. There's a lot of it, and it's bad, and we need more cops, and that's about all you can say about it.
What should folks do to prevent being a victim of identity theft?
Well, I mean, the services work a little, and I certainly am not going to tell people not to buy them. But the real thing is to just use your head, right? If the offer on the internet looks too good to be true, it's too good to be true, right? Don't click on the link that offers you free pictures of, of your favorite TV actor, drunk in a bar, because they're not really there. They're malware. Don't go to charity websites that spring up overnight after a disaster. Go to regular ones like the American Red Cross, because the bad guys will take advantage of your sympathy and set up fake Haiti earthquake disaster websites and just take your credit card and run with it. So use common sense. Have strong passwords. I know passwords are a pain and it's hard to remember them, but weak passwords are easy to guess. The most common is password, so don't use that.
Thanks, Paul. Well, for the first time in 4 years, the Democrat-controlled Senate has produced a budget. Senate Democrats unveiled their plan today, calling it balanced and responsible. It would cut $975 billion from domestic spending and generate the same amount in new taxes. They say it'll do that by closing up loopholes in the tax code that benefit the wealthy. The plan comes on the heels of House Republicans' newly released blueprint, which balances the budget in 10 years without raising taxes. The competing plans open the door to congressional bickering about which version is better for America.
Our budget tackles this issue the way the American people have consistently said they want it done, with an equal mix of responsible spending cuts across the federal budget and new revenue raised by closing loopholes and cutting wasteful breaks that primarily benefit the rich.
After 4 years of no budget in the Senate, and after the House has passed legislation that said no budget, no pay, it is good news that the committee is finally doing its job.
Republicans point out, up until today, Senate Democrats went more than 1,400 days without producing a budget. Chairman Murray says she expects it will proceed to the Senate floor next week. President Obama's White House budget, which he was supposed to submit to Congress last month, is expected sometime around April 8th. The Boy Scouts of America is surveying its members to determine their views on homosexuality. The 13-question survey was sent to more than 1 million adults involved in scouting. It asks them to share their views on the impact of allowing gay scout leaders and members. It also includes hypothetical situations like this one. Bob is 15 years old and the only openly gay scout in a Boy Scout troop. Is it acceptable or unacceptable for the troop leader to allow Bob to tent with heterosexual boys on an overnight camping trip? Scout spokesman Darren Smith says the organization is in what it calls a listening phase as it struggles with a decision whether to lift its ban on gays. Coming up, why some are criticizing a lobbying group pushing President Obama's agenda.
The game show of biblical proportions is back with more action, more fun, more stars, Kirk Franklin, Mary, and more nuns.
The nuns just whooped you, man.
The American Bible Challenge Season 2 premieres Thursday, March 21st at 9/8 Central, only on GSN. Visit GSNTV.com to find GSN in your area.
When you're driving along and your cell phone rings, do your eyes instantly go off the road? Then you need to get a grip. Hi, David Jones here with the new GripGo, the most versatile hands-free mount that will instantly grip any phone for safe driving. Just attach the suction cup to your windshield or dash, and GripGo grabs your phone ultra fast. Then it peels right off. And don't worry, there's no sticky residue left behind. The 360-degree pivoting mount allows you to always get the perfect viewing angle. It's even strong enough to grab and hold this expensive smartphone out the window. Yet it comes right off with ease. That's the advantage of GripGo. You can get the amazing GripGo with dashboard mount for only $14.95. We'll send you a second kit free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Get 2 complete GripGo systems for just $14.95.
To order GripGo for $14.95 plus processing and handling, call 1-800-709-5259 or order online at getgripgo.com.
The game show of biblical proportions is back with more action, more fun, more stars, Kirk Franklin, Mary, and more nuns.
The nuns just whooped you, man.
The American Bible Challenge Season 2 premieres Thursday, March 21st at 9/8 Central, only on GSN. Visit GSNTV.com to find GSN in your area.
President Obama has picked a woman to fill the vacancy at the White House Office of Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships. Melissa Rogers comes to Washington from Wake Forest University, where she led the Center for Religion and Public Affairs. She's also served as an attorney for the Baptist Joint Committee for Religious Liberty. Rogers replaces Joshua Dubois, who recently stepped down. She'll focus on policy goals that include reducing unintended pregnancies, promoting responsible fatherhood, and improving interfaith dialogue. President Obama's new policy group, Organizing for Action, is holding a summit in Washington, and the president is a featured speaker. The White House says OFA is designed to help the middle class, but critics from the left and the right argue it looks more like a lobbying group to push the president's agenda. Jennifer Wishon explains.
Some watchdog groups call it a scandal waiting to happen and are asking President Obama to shut down what they call a new dangerous arm of his presidency. They're talking about Organizing for Action, the nonprofit created out of the president's re-election machine, Obama for America. It's designed to redirect the power of his political campaign to back his policy agenda, deploying resources to promote items like gun control, immigration reform, and climate change. It's run by former top Obama advisors. Even the group's website looks an awful lot like the president's campaign website, raising questions about where the government in the White House ends and the political activities of Organizing for Action begins. First Lady Michelle Obama helped launch it.
This is your movement, and going forward, it can be whatever you make of it.
But for access, they'll likely have to spend money, a lot of it. Tonight, OFA, as it's known, is holding its Founders Summit. Donors have access to the Commander-in-Chief himself. The cost for a seat at the table, $50,000 per person.
I just think that's wrong.
Bob Edgar is president of Common Cause, a group dedicated to open and accountable government. He says the president is blowing a chance to prove that he's serious about campaign finance reform and minimizing the role that money plays in politics.
Once the president won re-election, he should have stopped, thought about this organization, and organized from the bottom up and not from the top down.
The White House says OFA is for average Americans, and it denies reports that mega donors who bundle $500,000 or more for OFA will get their own quarterly meetings with the president.
OFA, again, was set up to promote the president's public policy agenda, and therefore, as anyone would expect, the president would likely meet with their representatives to discuss his agenda. Any notion, as we've talked about, that there's a price set for a meeting with the president is absurd.
The group promises to raise millions of dollars to help deploy an army of political activists to advance the president's agenda. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, Washington.
Westminster Theological Seminary in Pennsylvania has filed a lawsuit against the contraception mandate in Obamacare. The suit challenges the requirement to make sure employees have health insurance that includes drugs that induce abortions. 2 other Christian schools have already gone to court against the mandate. Up next, see how this mother of 2 is coping with her husband sentenced to 8 years in an Iranian prison.
Listen up for an amazing offer that can change the way you hear.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Can you repeat that?
Frustrated with your hearing?
What did he say?
Well, hear better now. Introducing the fully rechargeable MSA 30X, a revolutionary device that features the latest microsound amplification technology that can barely be seen. Independently tested to help you hear up to 30 times better. It turns ordinary hearing into extraordinary hearing. MSA 30X works by capturing and amplifying sound waves, yet its lightweight ergoacoustic design is discreet. It form-fits in and around either ear.
I forget I'm even wearing it.
And MSA 30X is powerful. Hear clearly in restaurants. Never miss another word on TV or at the movies.
My wife complains that I have the volume up on the TV too loud.
And I didn't want to be in the same room with them.
Now I can hear everything clearly.
Simply adjust the volume as you desire. Other units use so many batteries and they're difficult to change. But the MSA 30X is completely rechargeable. Simply plug it into the wall.
I tried other devices that had batteries, but they were always such a pain to change and so costly. But this is rechargeable, so I figure I save hundreds a year.
Bulky sound amplifiers can cost hundreds, but try MSA 30X for just $59.95, and we'll include a cleaning brush and 5 comfort tips. But wait, in this special TV offer, we'll cut the price in half. Now you can hear up to 30 times better for just $29.95. But there's even more. We'll double the offer free. Just pay additional processing and handling. Wear them both or give one to a loved one. Did you hear that? That's 2 MSA 30Xs for just $29.95. The MSA 30X Hear Better Now offer. Get 2 for just $29.95.
All I can say is just try it. It could change your life.
To order the MSA 30X sound amplifier, call 1-800-535-0654. That's 1-800-535-0654. Or you can go to MSA30X.com. Call or go online now.
Saeed Abedini made headlines around the world when he was sentenced to 8 years in one of the worst prisons in Iran, all because of his Christian faith. Here in America, his wife has also been suffering along with their 2 children. In tonight's Focus Report, Wendy Griffith sits with her for an exclusive interview about her love for her husband and her ongoing fight for his freedom.
Their love story began in Iran. Naghmeh, an American citizen since early childhood, believed God was leading her to return to her homeland in 2001 to minister to Muslim women. That's where she first saw Saeed Abedini. The young preacher was leading worship at one of the underground house churches he helped form. What made you fall in love with him?
His passion. I think as a young woman, I always prayed. I said, Lord, I can't marry someone who's mediocre. I want to marry someone who is passionate for you. But I had no idea how he would answer my prayer. I had no idea it would be so radical.
Not long afterwards, the two married in Iran. Their wedding drew hundreds of well-wishers and aroused the suspicion of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard.
Our wedding, our union was a miracle because we were both Muslim converts and they allowed us to have a Christian union. Bibles were passed out, Jesus film videos were passed out, and many people came to know Christ, hundreds.
Well, it takes a special bride to be able to be willing to share her big day.
Jesus shined, which made me happy. Yes, I mean, you imagine that day it's going to be all about you, and it wasn't. It was just a big, I mean, it was amazing. It was what we both would have wanted for a wedding.
But 9 years and 2 children later, 4-year-old Jacob and 6-year-old Rebecca, Naghmeh is now living her worst nightmare. Last July, during one of Saeed's routine trips to Iran to establish a government-approved orphanage, he was detained and put under house arrest. Then, in January, the Iranian Revolutionary Court's so-called hanging judge sentenced him to 8 years in Iran's brutal and deadly Evin prison. His crime? Preaching the gospel. In these photos, you can see men hanging outside the prison, an attempt to bring even more terror to inmates and family members.
Just the name really scared me. I've had, during the revolution, people who we knew and also family members who were hanged in that prison and killed and abused and raped.
Before he was sentenced, Saeed could Skype with his family. Now they have no personal contact, only reports and letters from family members in Iran. The latest telling them that Saeed is being tortured and pressured to renounce his Christian faith.
I said to myself, they don't know who they're dealing with. Saeed came from a very radical Muslim background, and he's very, since he accepted Christ and his life changed, he was very committed. Doesn't matter what beatings he goes through. It doesn't matter if they say we're going to kill you.
As a wife, what's been the hardest part of all of this for you?
The Lord has given me grace to go to his presence and just get my comfort. But as a mom, every time is it's like a stab in my heart when I see them struggling and I can't do anything about it. My son is his character has changed 100%. Since the arrest, he won't talk as much. He's very reserved. And then my daughter, she just cries a lot.
What does it say?
It says, I miss you, Dad.
And these are your tears?
Yeah.
Naghmeh admits at first she sank into despair.
I was in the edge of extreme depression and anxiety and worry. And I could see that where I was almost being broken, I would have had to check myself in, but the Lord didn't let me break. I clung to him and I cried out to him. I said, Lord, in Philippians, you promised you will give peace beyond understanding. And he gave me that peace. And so the scripture is true. I just want people to know that if they cling to him and believe in his scripture and just don't let him go, hold on tight. He's going to get you through whatever it is.
In the meantime, the American Center for Law and Justice is going full throttle with both a legal and media campaign. Jordan Sekulow says publicity could be a lifesaver for Saeed, just as it was for Iranian pastor Yusuf Nardakhani, sentenced to death for his Christian faith. But late last year, thanks to a major publicity and prayer campaign, Nardakhani was freed.
What's the chance that Pastor Abedini will walk out of Evin prison?
The only chance is people speaking out. Chance-wise, surviving one day is not a great chance, honestly. You can be beaten to death by the guards. You can be beaten to death by a fellow inmate. If the story is talked about, people don't get beaten as badly.
The good news, people are talking. Nearly 500,000 people have signed the Save Saeed petition on the ACLJ's website.
In September of 2012,
And Christian musicians are also speaking out on his behalf.
Help us share his story. Sign the petition at savesaeed.org.
So help me God.
Secretary of State John Kerry promised to work for Saeed's freedom, but has made no public comment on the matter since he was sworn in. Naghmeh says she believes prayer, not government, will free her husband.
Do you believe you'll see him again?
I do, it's the flesh versus the spirit. My flesh wants to say he's not going to survive that prison. But when I pray, I feel like the Lord, He's a God of hope, and He tells me that it's at His time He will release Saeed.
On Friday, Congress will hold hearings on religious persecution in Iran. Naghmeh and ACLJ Chief Counsel Jay Sekulow are testifying on behalf of Pastor Saeed. Look for a full report on that hearing this Friday on NewsWatch. We'll be right back.
Listen up for an amazing offer that can change the way you hear.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Can you repeat that?
Frustrated with your hearing?
What did he say?
Well, hear better now. Introducing the fully rechargeable MSA 30X, a revolutionary device that features the latest microsound amplification technology that can barely be seen. Independently tested to help you hear up to 30 times better. It turns ordinary hearing into extraordinary hearing. MSA 30X works by capturing and amplifying sound waves, yet its lightweight ergoacoustic design is discreet. It form-fits in and around either ear.
I forget I'm even wearing it.
And MSA 30X is powerful. Hear clearly in restaurants. Never miss another word on TV or at the movies.
My wife complains that I have the volume up on the TV too loud.
And I didn't want to be in the same room with them.
Now I can hear everything clearly.
Simply adjust the volume as you desire. Other units use so many batteries and they're difficult to change. But the MSA 30X is completely rechargeable. Simply plug it into the wall.
I tried other devices that had batteries, but they were always such a pain to change and so costly. But this is rechargeable, so I figure I save hundreds a year.
Bulky sound amplifiers can cost hundreds, but try MSA 30X for just $59.95 and we'll include a cleaning brush and 5 comfort tips. But wait, in this special TV offer, we'll cut the price in half. Now you can hear up to 30 times better for just $29.95. But there's even more. We'll double the offer free. Just pay additional processing and handling. Wear them both or give one to a loved one. Did you hear that? That's 2 MSA 30Xs for just $29.95. The MSA 30X Hear Better Now offer. Get 2 for just $29.95.
All I can say is just try it. It could change your life.
To order the MSA 30X sound amplifier, call 1-800-535-0654. That's 1-800-535-0654. Or you can go to MSA30X.com. Call or go online now.
A Pittsburgh man is being called a hero after overpowering a gunman and saving an inn full of customers. Jerry Maroney jumped at a man who started firing into the crowd. He was hit in the arm by a bullet, but knew he had to stop the gunman.
I just didn't want to see nobody else get killed. There was a lot of people in there. I got 2. He shot again and he got me. He nicked me here. I got him down. I just took the gun off. I had the gun off him.
Maroney says his actions came naturally and he doesn't consider himself a hero, but the folks in that inn sure do. That's all the time we have for this edition of NewsWatch. Remember, you can email us your comments and questions at newswatch@cbn.com. We hope you'll join us again tomorrow. Have a great evening, everyone.